New pop song has been charting for 6 weeks on Billboard.
Upcoming artists starting their worldwide tour.
Are they re-recording or restarting?
Oh, they're gonna be the next best thing.
Rad Ratings, your radical show for all new charting songs and artists. Hello everyone, you're listening to Rad Ratings, your show for all things on the charts. I'm your host Rachel Hyatt, joined by
Matt Fisher
and Riley Marino.
So first of all, before we get into these artists, how are you guys? What's new and exciting for the week?
Well, I am going to be pulling an all-nighter tonight because I have a 1,500 word essay that I haven't started yet, but just trust, it's going to be good.
But you got it.
Yeah, the A's going to come up.
I have faith in you. Riley, what about you?
I am doing good. I do have some homework like Matt, so I will also be pulling an all-nighter, but good luck on that essay.
The Sunday scaries are real. We're recording this on a Sunday, but if it's a different day of the week, I'm happy for everyone listening.
I went and watched Eternal Sunshine last night, and it was such a beautiful film. It also took place on Long Island, too, which is crazy.
First of all, we will be discussing the artists. I'm so excited for this episode, guys. Beyonce, Lizzy McAlpine, and WASIA Project. So, first of all, let's get into Queen Bee. So, Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter, her full name, for those who don't know. She's a 42-year-old singer-songwriter who has been named by Rolling Stones as one of the greatest vocalists of all time, as she should be. So getting her start in the 90s as a member of the famous R&B group Destiny's Child, her fans, known as the Beehive, continue to show their support in her solo career with her albums such as Dangerously in Love, For, Beyonce, Lemonade, Renaissance, and most recently, Cowboy Carter. I cannot talk about how much I love Cowboy Carter. Like, the hick roots in me are like screaming right now. But Matt's gonna get into sort of her personal bio.
Yes, okay. So Beyonce was born on September 4th, 1981 in Houston, Texas. We know this because she's been very vocal about this in her music career. Her father, Matthew Knowles, was a businessman, and her mother, Tina Lawson, was a hairdresser. So Beyonce showed her passion for performing at a young age through her passion for music and dance. She attended dance classes and arts in the Houston area and ventured into singing through the local talent shows, and also became a part of her school's choir and her church's choir. So her career really began when her family friends Kelly Rowland and Latriva Robinson auditioned for an all-girls R&B group that would be called Girls Time. The group eventually added more members and auditioned for the talent show Star Search, but they lost. Can you guys believe that?
What?
Beyonce
They
lost.
lost?
They didn't make it in, yeah. But the loss pushed the group to work even harder, and Beyonce's father actually began to manage the group. And he cut out all the members except for Beyonce, Rowland, Lativa, and LaToya Luckett. She's one of the new members that was added earlier on. So the group eventually changed their name to Destiny's Child and released their self-titled debut album in 1998 with the lead single No No No, which peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Their second album gained even more success with songs like Say My Name, Bills Bills Bills, and Jumpin' Jumpin'. During this era, Robinson and Luckett departed from the group and were replaced by Farrah Franklin and Michelle Williams. Franklin was eventually fired from the group, and the trio remained as Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, and Michelle Williams. In 2001, the group released their third album, Survivor, which I think it really cemented the group's identity as R&B superstars. During this era, B also pursued solo endeavors such as starring in films like Austin Power, Goldmember, The Fighting Temptations, and Carmen, a hip-opera. In 2003, Beyonce released her first solo album, Dangerously in Love, which featured the immediate hit Crazy in Love, featuring her future husband, Jay-Z. B went on to win 5 Grammys for the album. Yes. And then a year later, she returned to Destiny's Child, where the trio released their final album, Destiny Fulfilled, and in 2006, Destiny's Child officially disbanded, and Beyonce continued her solo career, going on to release 8 more studio albums, including her most recent, Cowboy Carter.
Cowboy Carter is so good. I have just a quick funny story about Destiny's Child, because that was an amazing start for her career, I think. First of all, I went to a CD record store around Hofstra recently, and my friend Thomas, he bought out the store of all the Destiny's Child CDs, which is so funny to me because they were 99 cents, and he was like, I know that I can just stream this, but it's just different listening to them on the CDs. And I agree. But
it's a product of the time they were released in. It feels nostalgic.
And also they comes with posters and stuff. Also some remix tracks you can't get on streaming too. Buy your CDs and vinyls, everyone. But now I'm gonna get into some of her most recent and current trends. So her most recent hit, according to Billboard Hot 100, is still Texas Hold'em, is sitting at number 11 for 7 weeks. But on Apple Music, Levi's Jeans with Post Malone and Riverdance are the most popular off of her new album, Cowboy Carter. So I have been listening to Levi's Jeans on repeat. I don't know about you guys, but that has been probably my most popular song. But she had her tour for her second most recent album, Renaissance, in May through October of last year. But she's not announced a tour as of now for Cowboy Carter, but fans are holding out hope, including me. But she just needs to wait until a girl has more money, and then I will be able to purchase these tickets.
Yeah.
So nothing as of now for new music since Cowboy Carter just came out, which it was released on March 29th. 29th of this year. But as this is considered Act 2 of her albums, fans anticipate an Act 3 album that has been rumored to either be rock genre or R&B. So I'm hoping either one of those I think she would be amazing at.
I would love, she didn't announce this, but like I think about like a heavy metal
That'd be
Beyonce
crazy.
album.
I feel like
That
she
would
could do
sound
any
sick.
genre.
No, actually, she's kind of like, I don't want to say she's doing like the Taylor Swift of it all, breaking boundaries of her genre. But on Cowboy Carter, there's one track in there where she openly pokes fun at the concept of a genre and an artist staying true to one specific genre. And the reason why Taylor Swift was so successful and all these other artists who like broke their genre bounds is because if you can prove that you're talented in all aspects of music, you're a legend. Like and you're going to be so much more popular, because if somebody's feeling sad Beyonce. If somebody wants to hear country Beyonce. If somebody wants R&B Beyonce.
I feel like genres are just like weird category groups, honestly, because fans or like people in general just hate on artists because they're a certain genre. But I'm like, if an artist just like does all kinds of genres, majority of people are gonna love them. Like that's what I'm saying with Beyonce. You know for a fact that all those country people out there who are like, oh, I don't listen to Beyonce, they listen to Cowboy Carter and they were like, oh, like this is kind of good.
But they'll never admit that it's good.
They'll never admit that it's good. You're so right. But any appearances recently, specifically, she made an appearance in Japan to promote Cowboy Carter, and she has been doing many photo shoots to promote her new cowboy style and her goal to take back the genre. So I know that some of the like main controversies has been typically from white conservative male masses and, you know, smaller conservative towns who believe that they own the genre of country music. And I know that Beyonce is trying to actually take back that genre because it did not originate that way. And I think that that's really powerful of her. I know that too. One fun fact that I heard about is the horse on her album cover is actually a horse that it starts off as a black horse, and as it ages it becomes white. That really relates to like what she's doing, like the idea of whitewashing in country music, which I thought was really cool to just learn about. And I feel like there's always rumors about her and Jay-Z just because of, you know, people who are Beyonce stan, they follow the Jay-Z controversy and stuff like that. But there has been rumors that her and Jay-Z may split, even though those are just rumors, because of his connection to P. Diddy and the accusations of sexual assault against him. So I don't know what you guys have heard about that, but I think that's also interesting. I feel like there's always something going on though. But yeah, so now Riley is going to get into some more just the future steps of her career and what we think about the album.
Okay, yeah, so I definitely think she will continue to evolve. I mean, she's already released 8 studio albums along with some live albums, compilation albums, EPs, and more. So I definitely think she's still got it in her to do another album, another tour, you know. But what do you guys think? Do you think she'll continue with her country era, go into a different era? What do you guys think?
No, she's gonna take it around. What did we say she's gonna do next? Maybe not heavy metal, but the other
rock
ones.
Or R&B is a rumor.
I think a rock album would be really, really cool. I think there's a lot can be said for Beyonce. First of all, as an artist, I hold Beyonce to just a completely different level than certain artists. She almost feels untouchable to me. Nobody can knock her off her pedestal. She's reached that level of fame and that level of, keep saying the word legendary, but like she's
a legend.
She's a legend.
She
like
is a legend.
Legendary singers of our time.
She also, just for her age, not that she's old, that woman looks beautiful. I hope I age as well as she does. But like she has so much experience in her career. Like she started off in a group, an R&B group, and then she's just like discovering all these different genres. And I feel like Renaissance 2 was like a monumental movement for people, because Renaissance was released after a while of all her like Crazy in Love, Best Thing I Never Had, and people were like, oh, this is good R&B music that I love to go back to, feel nostalgic about. But then Renaissance came out and I think people were like, oh my god, she is serious. And that's what I loved about it so much. And Cowboy Carter, I know people doubted her, and I know that this is just, I hope everyone's shook by it. Like I cannot talk about it enough.
No, she popped off with this album. What?
I definitely think she'll go on another tour for Cowboy Carter. And I definitely think, again, like I don't want to relate her to Taylor Swift, but like they are like some of the biggest people just like discussed in pop culture today. But I think that if she did like a Beyonce Eras tour, oh my god,
people would
the
go
world
crazy.
would be shook. Like I always say, like as much as like One Direction, if they reunited, like it would be worse than that.
I would have to go broke for Beyonce.
Oh, for
because
sure.
there's no way I'm missing. Little story about me and Beyonce, a little personal story.
Okay.
So
You know her?
when I was like 4, my dad, I have this vivid memory of my dad showing me this Single Ladies music video on his like iPhone 3. And my little like, I think I was like 4 or 5. My little like child self watched that video and I was so infatuated. And I think I watched that video like with my dad over like 100 times. And then I said something, I was like, oh, like she's the leader. Like I put it up Beyonce, my dad started laughing. And it's just like it's a core memory that I have.
Yeah.
And I hyper
love
obsessed with
that.
it.
So Beyonce explained that this is kind of like a continuation of Renaissance, and it's focused more like as a creating that kind of experience and journey where you can just like kind of close your eyes and picture that story from start to beginning. So I'm very excited to listen to this album and continue to analyze it. But what songs are we most excited for?
It's so hard to pick one of my favorite songs. I have been listening, like I said, Levi's Jeans has been on repeat for me. Bodyguard's a good one. I finally got my mom to listen to it and she was like, I cried when I listened to Protector. It's so sweet. And I was like, she's mothering. Like she's mothering right now.
So I like Jolene a lot.
Jolene's so
One,
good.
because I love Dolly Parton, but number two, I liked the changes she made to
Yeah.
Jolene. It's kind of like
I agree.
when Ash Nico covered Skater Boy from Avril Lavigne. When Ash Nico did it, she did it a completely different way that completely like flipped the narrative. And instead of this woman being like, oh, like I wish I went out with Skater Boy, this woman was like, no, I'm glad I didn't go out with Skater Boy. I'm doing great. And I think with this new version of Jolene, the protagonist in the song, she's not begging, don't take my man. She's saying, no, don't take my man.
She's saying like, you think you can take my man, but you can't. But Dolly was like, oh, she's gonna take my man. Beyonce sure.
is her.
And I love when artists will take an old song and completely change the narrative to adapt it to more modern times. But also, no hate to Dolly Parton, but from this song, it sounds like you're begging. You need to take control. Like,
Yeah.
don't let this woman take your man.
Also, Dolly's a force. Like, what? But one thing that I want to talk about is, like, for those who haven't listened to the album yet, I definitely recommend listening to it just in full in the order that it is, because she has a lot of these awesome dialogue transitions. And I'm going to play one right now, which is actually with Willie Nelson. I know a lot of country fans out there definitely know him because he's one of the most, like, well-known country artists in history. I'll let them listen to it, but it's just an amazing, like, radio sort of mic break. And I feel like also all three of us as radio people, it's just so cool to hear that, because when you're listening to the album, like, on streaming, you're like, oh my God, it's like I'm listening to this, like, live. Like, it's being released right now.
That's why I'm going to the river to wash my sins away. Maybelline, why can't you be true?
Come on, baby, it's time to rock.
Welcome to the Smoke Hour on KNTRY Radio, Texas. You know my name, no need to know yours. Now for this next tune, I want y'all to sit back, inhale, and go to that good place your mind likes to wander off to. And if you don't want to go find yourself a jukebox. Thank you.
So, guys, what did you guys think of that? What do you guys think of the dialogue transitions?
This is why I argue that Beyonce albums are so much more than just songs. Like what she did with Renaissance. Renaissance was an audio movie, basically.
Yeah.
It took you through like the evolution of the ballroom scene and the house scene in New York City. And that album also had the sound cuts too. And it really helped tell the story. And with this one, it also does the exact same thing. It's a way to push the narrative. The album would be impactful without them. But I think it's even more impactful, especially because it's somebody who is so well known in the country radio world, and the same reason how she got like Dolly Parton, one of the mothers of country, to be on this album.
Mother of country. She so is mother of country, actually.
is.
That's a great way to describe her. Riley, what do you think?
I just I love like how smooth it is, and I love that Beyonce, she's just like one of those artists who like never fails to tell a good story in her songs.
it's true.
Like some artists, they just like a few songs like here and there, and it's, like it doesn't make sense like on the album. But her, she never fails to tell a good story.
She
And like
doesn't.
Matt said, it's literally a movie. Like,
Yeah, that's
I
a
love
great
it.
way to describe it, Matt. But as much as I would love to continue to talk about Beyonce, guys, we are going to get into our next artist, which is Lizzy McAlpine. So Elizabeth, or Lizzy, Catherine McAlpine, is a 24-year-old American pop singer-songwriter who had her start on the app SoundCloud, where she posted her own original songs and videos. She is best known for her album 5 Seconds Flat, and most recently released her new album titled Older, as she has that Phoebe Bridgers tone that younger generations seem to love. So Matt's going to get into some of her personal bio.
So Lizzy McAlpine was born September 21st, 1999 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She began writing music in the 6th grade, and in high school she participated in a co-ed a cappella group in theater. She went on to study songwriting at Berklee College of Music in Boston, but left her junior year to pursue a full-time music career. In 2018, McAlpine released her debut EP Indigo, and in August of 2020, she released her debut studio album Give Me a Minute. The album has been streamed over 1 million times on streaming platforms, and the Dallas Observer named it as one of the best albums of 2020. In April of 2021, McAlpine released an 8-song EP, When the World Stopped Moving, the live EP. McAlpine gained many fans through TikTok and Instagram, causing some to call her a TikTok star, a title that she has openly expressed dislike of. In April 2022, McAlpine released her second studio album, 5 Seconds Flat, and the album debuted at number 5 on the US Billboard Heat Seekers chart, while also peaking at number 9 on Alternative New Artist Albums and number 19 on Top New Artist Albums chart. One song from the album that went incredibly viral was Ceilings. You guys know Ceilings.
I love
Of course,
that song.
I love
We all know
Ceilings.
Ceilings. It peaked at number 54 on the Billboard Hot 100 with over 230 million streams. And in 2022, she announced her headline tour and also performed on the set of NPR's Music Tiny Desk concert.
I love the Tiny Desk concerts, guys. I just watched Chappell Roan's the other day.
I did too.
Stop,
So
it was so
good.
good. But some of her most recent hits, so I would say her most recent hit would be her collaboration with artist Noah Kahan in his song titled Call Your Mom. And from her new album Older, released on April 5th, honorable mentions that seem to begin trending include tracks The Elevator, I Guess, Drunk Running, and the title track Older. So her most famous song, as Matt already mentioned, is Ceilings from her album 5 Seconds Flat, as it became a trend on TikTok with over 200,000 videos and even was covered by former One Direction member Niall Horan on BBC Radio. So she's currently on a worldwide tour for her new album from April to October of this year and is playing shows currently in California, Colorado, and Washington. And since her album was just released on April 5th, there is no news of any new music preceding that just yet, but she did recently perform on Jimmy Fallon, which previewed her title track song Older, that talks about sort of the fears of growing up as well as watching your parents grow up with you.
Over and over, watch it all pass. Mom's getting older, I'm wanting it back. Where no one is dying and no one is hurt. And I have been good to you instead of making it worse. Thought it'd be over by now. Thought you would leave. Thought I would come to my senses.
So, Lizzy seems to not be caught up in many scandals and is actually very open and honest about her personal life struggles, as we can sort of hear just like the heartbreak in her song. And so with her father passing in 2020 and sort of her personal struggles with mental health, she has even had to cancel some tours and shows in order to focus on herself. So guys, what do we sort of think of like the clip we just heard and her new album and sort of like all the emotions she's sharing with us?
You can tell in her voice
Yeah.
through her songs that this girl's gone through a lot. I mean, losing a parent at a young age, because she's not that old, only born in 1999, and losing a parent at that age when you're just freshly turning 20, like 21, that's hard because you kind of picture that parent being with you for the rest of your life, and then you have to like realize they're not going to be there. But I think music is such a beautiful way to cope.
Yeah.
And I love when artists will take their tragedies and their heartbreaks and they'll make art out of it because it's very healing, that process. And they can also profit off of it too.
I think that the way like she's coping and like the way she's expressing her emotions through music, and especially like this song, it's so heartbreaking and it's so beautiful, and it's just such an amazing way to like cope with your emotions and kind of like go through it. And honestly, it is making her money.
She's so real.
for
Like
her.
I feel like no matter what everyone goes through, that sort of like life crisis of being like, oh my god, like my parents are getting old and like I'm getting old. Like I feel like especially just being in college, I have that all the time because I'm like I don't really go home as often as normal now. So like when I go home and like I see like my dog's aging and like my parents are getting older and I'm like my room doesn't feel like my room anymore. I think it's beautiful, yeah. But Riley's gonna get into just some more of the future steps of her career and how she's gonna evolve as an artist.
I mean, Lizzy McAlpine has evolved so much already. She's already had some amazing achievements. She's already played at Coachella. She's won a Grammy. And she's even created her own taco, guys. Like, what do we think about that?
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Wait, was it at like a taco restaurant or is it?
Yeah, so she created her own taco at Home State. And that's like a Los Angeles chain.
I love that for her.
Phoebe Bridgers also has her own like vegan dish there.
That's crazy.
That's just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. They're like the same vibe.
I feel like that's an amazing accomplishment. Like having your own taco.
Oh my god. If I had like a food named after me, I would never like let anyone live it down.
Right? Like.
It's like when Emma Chamberlain had her kava bowl. The Emma Chamberlain
Oh,
kava
yeah.
Oh,
bowl.
yeah.
Sorry
I
guys, I'm just a really big Emma Chamberlain fan.
But with that being said, I think that she will continue to evolve. I mean, she's already created an immense amount of popularity, you know, whether it's on TikTok, which she's not a TikTok star, guys, but she definitely has some popularity. So I'm excited to see what her future holds.
Yes.
But what do you guys think? Like, do you think she's going to evolve?
I definitely think so. I think she's already evolving so much because, as we discussed earlier, when Ceilings came out, like, I was one of the people to record a TikTok video of, like, Ceilings, like, I'm not gonna lie. But I know that, especially with TikTok now, so many people are like, wait, like, who is this artist? And, like, they have that song stuck in their head all day, and then they do the research to, like, look up the person. Because that's exactly what I did. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this song. And then I looked her up and I listened to the whole album, and I was like, this is amazing. So I think, like, not just on TikTok, but as she continues to do things like Tiny Desk and, like, going on Jimmy Fallon on and things like that. Like she's just constantly like she's leveling up.
Honestly, first of all, I have something to say about TikTok artists. I believe there is a difference between somebody who's a TikToker becoming an artist and an artist using TikTok as a way to advertise their song. I think Conan Gray is an amazing example of this because he is very active on TikTok. He just dropped his new album. Won't get too much into that, but he is always promoting it and he loves when people repost about it and use his sound because it's a way to get your music out there. And I think a lot of artists, they don't feel that good about it. They're like, I don't want my song to be remembered as a like Doja Cat, for example. Like she was very open about how she was not the biggest fan of how Say So became a TikTok song, but it depends on the way you look at it. I mean, everybody's on TikTok right now, or at least they will be until if it gets banned. Who knows? But I don't know. It's just a good way to promote your songs. I'm sorry. Like,
speaking about promoting songs, let's talk about some collabs because that's a good way to promote, I feel like. So she did have a collab with Niall Horan for You Could Start a Cult, and that definitely went popular on TikTok.
That was so good.
That was such a good song. What were you guys' thoughts on that?
I love Niall, honestly, just in general. Like, you know how people say he's like they call people baby girl? He's so baby girl to me.
Baby girl.
Like I just love him. So I thought it was beautiful. I feel like their tones go really well together too.
I liked it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was not the biggest One Direction fan back in the day.
Matt's actually
Yeah,
not going to be on Rad Ratings anymore.
Oh, okay, bye
So
guys.
actually, we're
Cool.
finding
We're kicking him out.
So we're finding a replacement for Matt Fisher. But
No,
anyway.
please. No, but to be fair, I was in 5th grade, and that was
Yeah.
during my emo phase, right? Listened to Panic at the Disco at the time. It was the vibe of the time. It was Coachella 2016. I don't listen anymore.
Okay.
It's calmed down.
Okay.
But I listened to the collab, and I liked it. It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty.
Very
Honestly, I think it was spectacular, and I think it also really helped her as an artist. I think one of my favorite all-time songs from her is Call Your Mom with Noah Khan. That is just such a beautiful song. It holds a special place in my heart. I always play it on the radio. But what were you guys' favorite collabs? And who would you want her to collab with?
I wanted to collab with Phoebe Bridgers. Has she done that
would
yet?
be-
I don't
no.
think so.
That would be such a good
But
collab,
they have such
though.
perfect tones that it would fit because I feel like a lot of people compare her to her as well. I really like the Noah collab too. I think that was really good.
I want to see almost like a sad girl group.
Yes.
So like
Okay.
Lizzy McAlpine, Phoebe Bridgers, and Billie Eilish. I know people can argue that Boy
Ooh.
Genius is already kind of like a sad girl group, but I want to see like all the sad girls in the industry get together and make just like a sad girl group.
Matt wants to be in tears.
I want to be on the floor, shaking, screaming,
Crying.
eyes red, all of the above.
Yeah, and then he'll listen to One Direction after and he'll be pumped.
And I'll be like, "Baby, you left."
So true.
Okay, so what do we think about her new album? I thought it was really good. I think it's like definitely a more like slowed down vibe and like
Yeah.
very like acoustic, maybe even folk. But I feel like most of her songs are kind of written that way. But I would definitely say one of my favorites off of that album would be Elevator or Better Than This because they're just both written so beautifully and honestly it's amazing at how like relatable
Yeah.
every song is.
Not to be like cheesy, being like, oh, the title track's my favorite song, guys, but like it genuinely is. Like Older is just so relatable, as I already talked about, and so beautiful. And I think too that like you said, Riley, she has this like indie pop folk vibe that she just always has sad girl ballads. And I know people sometimes are like, oh, like have an upbeat song every now and then, but I'm like, if that's what she's comfortable with, if that's how like her voice tone sits perfectly, like that's just her vibe. Sometimes you just have artists for like certain moods. Like anytime I'm sad, I'm like, it's Lizzy time.
It's Lizzy McAlpine.
Like that's just like what she's good at. That's what she likes to portray, and I think that's like a beautiful thing.
Matt, what do you think?
I agree. I thought Older was a solid. First of all, people like to hate about like saying the like title name of the album is your favorite track is stupid. Like you obviously did not like go in depth in the album.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, a good song is a good song. And the message of Older, kind of like we said earlier with growing up and seeing your parents grow up, it's a universal experience that everybody can kind of like understand. And I think one of the biggest things with making music is making music that is relatable to everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Okay, maybe that's not
I
the
love that
biggest
you say
thing.
that though.
But a song is gonna do better if a wider audience of people can relate to it.
It's true. Yeah.
So Older's my pick.
Well, as much as I would love to be in my sad girl era much longer, which I will be later because it's Sunday, we are going to get into our next artist, which is WASIA Project. So WASIA Project is an English pop singing sibling duo with members Olivia Hardy and William Gao, who only released their first single in 2019. And so William Gao, known for his role in the famous Netflix show of the comic Come to Life, Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. Any Heartstopper fans out there? I could talk about the show all day. They actually debuted some of their music in the show, which is one of their best known songs, You're So. And just for our listeners, sort of get the vibe of the duo's music and their most popular song, I'm going to play You're So Pretty right now by WASIA Project. So let's listen together.
Sorry, have I injured you?
Okay. guys, I could just like go to sleep right now. Like that song is so beautiful.
You guys can't see it, but the fake eyeliner I'm wearing right now is running down my cheeks
No, like mascara
onto the floor.
running.
The white shirt that I'm not wearing is stained with my invisible mascara. No, but actually that song, I remembered when they played it in Heartstopper, and it was the scene of like Joe Locke and Kit Connor, and they were like sucking face on the couch. It was so sweet.
I'm gonna go into cardiac arrest.
Rachel's over there crying.
No, like actually, like that show's just so good. Like, oh my god, I can't talk about it. And the way, no, I can't get into it. I'll talk about it for so long.
That's gonna be a separate episode.
That's a separate episode, guys. Tune in when we just talk about Heartstopper.
Heartstopper.
Matt's gonna sort of get into their personal bio.
So the sibling duo is from England, with William Gow being born on February 20th, 2003, and his younger sister Olivia Hardy being born in 2005. Growing up, Hardy learned how to play the violin using the Japanese method of Suzuki, which is a method of learning violin by ear instead of sheet music. I want to do that because I can't read music. And then Gow learned to play the piano, becoming classically trained at a young age. But as we mentioned earlier, as his fame grew exponentially when he starred as Tao in Heartstopper, and the duo came out as the WASIA project in 2019, and in that same year they released their debut single Why Don't You Love Me on SoundCloud. A lot of artists coming from SoundCloud, like it's really like kind of like with Lizzy McAlpine, what she did. But the following year they released a single Petals on the Moon, and then in 2023 they used You're So Pretty in Heartstopper, which just made the song blow up on TikTok everywhere. Everybody was listening to the song because it was so sad but so beautiful, as we just heard.
It's so beautiful. Guys, I can't talk about Heartstopper. I won't stop. So their most recent hit is This What Love Is, which is actually released on March 20th of this year, and it was preceded by their EP released in 2022 titled How Can I Pretend. And so currently they're on tour and have shows in Tennessee, Washington, D.C., and Chicago, and their tour as of now will be happening until the end of July of this year. And I tried to get concert tickets, guys, but I couldn't do it. They were only like $40, and I was like, this would be life-changing for me. Like, hearing You're So Pretty, like, I think I would ascend, like, in real life. But as far as their recent single, there has been no news of any new albums anytime soon, and currently they're just being on tour. They're doing a lot of radio sessions and sort of posting them on YouTube, and they seem to not be caught up in any scandals, which is good, and they have actually been labeled as sort of taking over the UK pop scene.
So you said that they're currently on tour, but do you think that they will release like another EP or like possibly another album?
I feel like they would release another album. I think too with like, oh my gosh, I would actually cry. I can't think about it. But Heartstopper Season 3 comes out in October, and I'm hoping that, I don't know if like pre-existing songs, more of theirs will be in it, or I'm hoping maybe some new songs by then, because it's still like quite a few months out. So
I'm kind of curious if this is going to be a situation where William Gow likes that people kind of relate his music to Heartstopper now, but then
Yeah.
a couple years down the line, it could maybe turn into one of those things where he starts to almost resent it, because I don't know, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like theoretically, he could be like, oh, like, yes, my music is great, but my music is not tied in with Heartstopper. Yes, we used it in the show, but it's kind of its own thing.
that's a really good point to bring up, because this example just came in my head because I've been watching a lot of Austin and Ally lately. But Laura Morano actually said the other day, she was like, I don't want to be known for like my songs on Austin and Ally, like there's no way I can make without you, like stuff like that. She's like, that's not who I am as an artist, and she doesn't want to be associated with that, especially because like if music is in shows or like movies, people are gonna listen to that more and just relate it to that, like you said, Matt. But I think like artists also want to be known for like just their music in general. But I think Heartstopper is such like a good show where it's different when it's like Disney Channel shows or stuff like that, where it was a long time ago, but Heartstopper is very like current.
True.
And I feel like it's also has a very positive impact on like a lot of people. So I'm hoping maybe he will like enjoy that aspect. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but one more thing about Heartstopper, they took this direction season 1, and they did it a little bit season 2, but the season 1 soundtrack, most of the music is from small indie artists.
Yes.
Like, they didn't go and pick
Love
some
that.
like big name I mean, season 2 they used a Taylor Swift song, and like they used a couple more mainstream things, but
Yeah.
it's a great show for a lot of small artists to launch their music.
So they are kind of like a newer group, kind of like Matt said. So they formed in 2019. And personally, like I feel like they still have like some room for improvement, but they're doing pretty good. And I'm definitely excited to see how far that they will go. But what do you guys think? Like, how do you think that they're gonna evolve?
I feel like they'll continue to evolve. They aren't like a very big group as of now. I feel like majority of people only really know them because their music was in Heartstopper and because William Gow plays Tao. But I think that now that they're on tour, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, like they're like a serious, legitimate group. So I think that in the next year or so, they'll definitely be more like involved.
I think that it would also be very interesting to see them, I don't want to say take the music in a new direction, but I'm always curious when an artist will switch up the vibe a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe they could make a little bit of a new sound in the future.
So speaking of new sounds, let's talk about some collaborations. So I don't think that they've done any collaborations yet, but I'm interested to see who they might collaborate with in the future. But who would you guys want to see them collaborate with?
I would say, honestly though, like, I know we just talked about Lizzie McAlpine, but like that collaboration I feel like would be so good.
It's
Yeah.
it's like the
Like
sad,
their harmonies would
the-
work.
The sad, down to earth, the more like melancholy, relaxed vibe.
Maybe like Gracie Abrams vibe.
Yeah.
I feel like
That would be a good
That
collab.
would be a good collab. Definitely like a more down to earth indie pop vibe, because I feel like that's also just their straight direction that they
Yeah.
want to take.
Actually,
Collaboration.
just kidding. I want to see a Wager Project Ice Spice collab.
Yeah, actually, I want to see Wager Project and Megan Thee Stallion collab, Lana and Wager Project. I think that would be really
that
good.
would be
that'd
good.
cute.
That would be super good.
What do we like about the song? So I love their EP, How Can I Pretend? I love that it was very classy and kind of like jazz based. However, I'm loving the new indie pop vibe that they're giving off with their new season, Is This What Love Is? Which is honestly one of my favorite songs from them. Personally, though, my favorite song is You're So Pretty, which we just heard.
Basic.
You know what, Matt?
Basic.
You know what? You're done.
Oh,
you can
okay,
leave.
okay,
Actually, second time that we're kicking Matt out of the studio today, guys.
Sorry, guys.
He's a bully. Okay. Anyway, I think it's just like filled with so much emotion and it's very sentimental and it's just so pretty. What are your favorite songs?
I like their new song, Is This What Love Is? That
It's
one's
really
really
good.
good. I like the backing track they have on it. I don't know what it is, what instrument it is, but it's so good. I love that one.
Matt, what about you?
Is it what love is? I'm sorry.
Matt's really copying my answer.
Yeah,
I'm
see, basic.
Basic.
No, don't even. I mean, I like all their songs because I'm a big fan of their sound. Is described as like alt pop and jazz fusions, and it just creates a very relaxing environment. And I don't know. I feel like if Is This What Love Is kind of captured that.
Guys, I could also talk about Wager Project all day, but I'm going to go cry and listen to You're So Pretty since we have completed talking about our artists today. But thank you all for joining us who are listening to episode 2. Do you guys have any last minute things? So I want to talk about the artists we've talked about, your life.
Stream Cowboy Carter, stream Lizzie McAlpine, and stream Wager Project.
Yes, please.
Heartstopper season 3 comes out
October.
during Halloween season.
Yes.
That's crazy.
If you see Kit Connor, let me know.
I'll give him your number directly.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But I'll give him my number actually. It's gonna be my
Oh,
number.
no,
not
I
yours.
don't think. Okay, so third time we're kicking Matt out of the studio
Hi, Matt.
today. But, Riley.
Also, if you guys' favorite song from the Wasia Project is You're So Pretty or How Can I Pretend, that is not basic. So
Sorry,
don't
guys.
be afraid of that. Don't
Guys,
be afraid of that.
I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. I
Don't be
promise.
afraid to be who you are.
Yeah, don't be afraid to like what you
That's
like.
our ending message for today. Join us next time, and maybe Matt will be here for episode 3, maybe not. So we'll keep you guys updated on that.
Stay
But
tuned.
stay tuned.
Texas, ain't no holding